Hi there, and welcome to the Cutting Room Digital Designs. I'm Miss A. If you're new to the cutting room, we design unique and fun 3D SVG projects that make great gifts, party decor, home decor, and more. We're so happy that you're joining us. Today, I'm going to show you how to make our little bunny top hat box. It's a perfect project for Easter, or maybe you want to redecorate it into some kind of a theme that you're doing, or maybe a baby shower, whatever it is. It should work great, and it will hold all kinds of stuff. It's got a pretty decent size, and it is very easy to make and to close up, just like that. So we're going to go ahead and make that today, but before we jump in, I know everyone says this, but if you could please like, share, follow, subscribe, do all those things. It does help us out quite a lot, and you'll know when we post our next project. So let's get started. The hat starts by putting together the sides. That's going to be the gift box part. And to do that, we have 8 of them. One of them has a little slit in it, so we'll deal with that later, but otherwise it is identical. I'm going to put it on last just so I can keep track of it and line things up for the lid. It's a little easier for me to have it go on last. I'm going to start by folding on all the score lines. Just helps get everything together easier as we go along if that's already done. Alright, so they're all folded. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue. Run it along there. I'm going to make sure I get it lined up at the top. I'm going to use my thumb. I can feel that bend, and so I know that it's flush. I don't want to have, if I glue it together and I'm not all the way onto that tab or I'm crooked, it's not going to come together right. So I'm just going to use my thumb to make sure that's right. I'm not going to glue these yet because I want to be able to lay it flat when I go to put on my decorative panels. I find it a little bit easier if I can just lay it down instead of having it already standing up in position. So I'll just keep going until I can get all 8 connected. That's the first 4. Okay, so now I have all 8 of them attached to each other, lined up. I kept this one with a little slit in it on the end here, just because it helps me orient for later. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the decorating on that end as well, just because it's easy. So I've got the one with the slit, and then I've got 7 more identical little decorative panels that I'll put in place. I just put a little bit of glue on the back. Do want to get close to those corners. And then using that slit, I'm going to go ahead and place my panel. It is centered on here, so you can also use the edges visually to help you line up the rest of them. And I'm going to just make my way around, gluing all of these together. There we go. All right, Go ahead and turn it around, a little bit easier to reach that way. And keep on going. Can really change up the pattern for a different feel on each one of these. Or you can do like what we did here, and we just used an embossing folder there and a little bit of ink to bring out the little dot appearance of it. Kind of simple and easy. You can just use whatever cardstock you have on hand. Don't have to worry about finding a pattern. All right, so last one. And then we can go ahead and move on to the next step. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the lid, which is right here. I'm gonna fold, and then I'm gonna take my decorative panel for the lid and put it on, centered on the top, just so that that's kind of taken care of. I want to get glue to those corners. All right. I'm just going to center that the best I can on my lid. We're all done. There we have it. Now, I want this side of the hole to be opposite my lid, because this is the tab that I'm going to be sliding into there as the closure. So I need to have 3, and then this one, 3, and then the slot, and they'll line up opposite each other. So, keeping in mind, I want 3, so this is the 4th one over. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on my tab. Got my 3, and then my 4th. I can even just slide it under there if I want. I want to make sure I get that centered and straight. I can even fold up just a little bit to make sure I'm really into that crease. And there we go. Because when I loop it around, it will line up to slide in there. So now that I have that, I can go ahead and close off the hat shape. Clean up that. There we go. And I want that to be also lined up just right. There we go. So I have that. I can double check real quick. It does line up correctly with my slot. Before your glue sets, you want to make sure that you didn't somehow count wrong, so you can take it apart without damaging your project. Now what I'm going to do is inside each one of these, I've got those little tabs, and I'm going to put some glue on it. I'm going to attach it to its neighbor, and that's going to help go from the slant a little bit of the hat to a vertical, where you can put ribbon around, or we've got a paper version that you could use if you want, just to kind of decorate that bottom part. Over here we did it in the purple, there you can see. So I'm going to just go ahead and add a little bit of glue onto each and every one. I'll make sure that I get it lined up with that fold. It's going to help give that shape for my hat. And if you don't have it snug, then your hat won't fit over the next panel that gives it the brim. It'll be too large to fit over if it's not all lined up correctly. I have just a couple left to go. I'm just folding it back so that I can get to that tab. I'll put my glue on. Doesn't take a lot. And then line it up and give it a good squeeze, and then I can move on to my next tab. This glue sets pretty quick, so it has some forgiveness in it, but once it holds, it holds pretty good. So I don't have to sit there forever if I don't overdo it in the amount I use. Alright, looks like that's my last one. Add my glue and give it a squeeze. Alright, now I can start taking my tabs, making sure that they are ready. And to give it a little bit of strength, I'm going to go ahead and fold this and slide that in. So I've closed my top, and I'm going to go ahead and have my tabs in. And this is my decorative rim. If I go this way, once I put it together, I don't have my pattern anymore. So I want to make sure to turn it over face down. I'm going to slide it over the top, just a tiny bit past those tabs. It might bow just a little bit, it's fine. You can even just kind of slide that flat if you want. But now I'm going to take it, I'm going to put some glue on each one of these tabs. Alright, fold out the tab. There. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over and press down. So I'm pressing this brim down onto those tabs. I'll give it a good push all the way around. So there we go. My next step is I'm going to go ahead and take this part of the hat brim and glue it down. So I'm going to just take a little bit more glue there. Put some glue all the way around the rim. I do want to get really close to that edge. I don't want it to be flapping or coming loose or anything. Oops. And now I'm going to come over here because that's where it's going to connect and help kind of close off the bottom of the gift bag. Alright, now it's important, I want to center this on there as best I can. There we go. Push down everywhere. I can even open this up. There we go. And if I want, I can gently push down to help get those edges nice and secure. So, with that, I have my hat shape. The box itself is kind of done. If I wanted, it could be done, but I think it needs a little more. So, on the front side, we've designed our little ribbon here, so it'll go all the way around and have just a little bit of overlap. So I want to hide my little overlap. We did that so if you're using really thick paper and it goes around, it should still meet in the middle. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and have that overlap in the front, so that's hidden behind my little bunny ears. I'm going to start, put glue on the end, and I'm going to put it flush down on the bottom. You can put it all the way across, you can put it part way across. I'm going to put it most of the way across. And you can either glue on every side, or I'm going to choose to only glue on every other one, just because I don't feel like it needs that much glue. It's not structural, it's just a decoration. So I'm going to go ahead and alternate. There we go. I'm just adding the glue here and then running my finger along to help make it snug and attaching it. So now I will go ahead, instead of missing and putting it in the middle there, I'm going to put the glue on the back of my ribbon and fold around. Because of that overlap, there's no gap or anything, it's all covered up. So if you have different plans for this and don't want to put on the bunny ears, there's nothing that you have to worry about. If you're better than me, you can line it up and actually have it straight. There we go, I fixed that. So the hat is there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together the bunny ears. So we've got our two little ears. We've added some ink, just like we've inked all of the rest of this. We used some Color Box cat eye inks and just put a complementary color around the edges. So now there's a little slit here. I'm going to line my pink up at the end, the tip of it is going to go to where that slit is at. More so that the pink keeps out of the way when you go and fold it than because it really needs to be in that spot. It just is a little easier to position later. So go ahead and just put it there. And I'm going to do the same thing again. There we go. And just hold my finger on the end and then using it to pivot just a little bit so I make sure that my pink is in the middle of that brown. Once that is set, I can use my finger, I can use pen, actually works really nice, just to kind of encourage it to curve a little bit. Just something kind of wide enough. You don't want like a narrow pen or a little pencil or something like that. Just kind of get the little ear shape going. So go ahead and do that for both of them. There we go. And now with that slit, I'm going to put some glue on one of the tabs. I'm going to bring the other one up and over. So now it's helping maintain that curve and kind of giving me a platform for it to stand up on. So that looks like it's going to hold. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'll just fold it over. So now I have my two little ears. I'm not going to attach them just yet. I'm going to go ahead and build my bow. And the bow is in a couple of pieces. While I embossed this and put my ink on, I just kind of got in the groove. The little bow that goes behind this part here actually is in two pieces, but I glued my decorative part on top and I didn't realize what I was doing until it was too late. So it's already there. But I wanted to have them separate so I could put some ink on each of these lines here and kind of let it stand out. Or if you're wanting to do like a two-tone bow, you can put a decorative cover onto it. So that part's already done. For this part of the bow, I'm going to curve it a little bit with my finger. And then on the back side, I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I just fold one of these over of the tabs, give it a little squeeze. I can puff up my bow a little if I want. I'm going to put a little more glue in there again and glue the other side of my bow. So now we have our bow. Really either side could be the front because you're going to cover it all up, but I like the idea of this side here being the front. Of course I'm impatient and didn't wait for my glue to set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part here and wrap it around that center, and then I can glue my ribbon to the back. So just start with that step. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here on the back side and glue down my little ribbon wrap, if you will. And then I'm going to add some more, wrap it around the front, and then back to the back, and hold it in place. That way I've got that little center piece that kind of gives a little more detail for the bow. So now that I'm happy with that, I can go ahead and add more glue to the back in the center. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to line it up with the top there and press them together. So I need to let that set. I want it to be good and strong because I'm going to end up curling these just a little bit to give them a little shape. But for now, I will just let that sit over here. So there's two options for putting the bow onto the hat. This one, I've glued the bow straight down onto the brim. On our other hat, I have this little wedge behind it, and I'll show you how that works because I kind of like the option of having the bow sit up a little taller instead of having it flatten down onto the brim. This way you can choose which way you want it to look. Either way works just fine. So this just makes a little 90-degree triangle. So I'm going to add some glue to those little tabs there. Probably did just a little bit too much. It might be easier if, probably shouldn't have done that one yet, if you use tweezers to reach in and squeeze if you need to. It doesn't have to be a perfect, pretty little triangle. It just has to be good enough because it's going to be hiding. It's just there to prop up your little bow. So there we have that. Now I'm going to fold these 8 sides in and put a little glue on them. I'm going to go ahead and let this tab be out. There. So I'm going to just hold those in place and we will have ourselves a little triangle wedge here in just a moment. Alright, we have our bow done. I went ahead and used my finger to curve it a little bit while I waited because I needed my hot glue gun to heat up. You can use regular glue to get the ears and everything in place, but it's a little faster and easier if you use the hot glue. So what I'm doing is I'm going to kind of figure out where I want them placed. Now, I don't really want them sticking straight out. I kind of want them like this, kind of at a little bit of an angle. So I'm just kind of on my table setting where I want to be, making a mental note, and then I'm going to hot glue this one in place. Just add some glue to the bottom. Or you can use the regular glue, and I have for the other hats, but it's a little bit faster if I use the hot glue, so I'm going to do it this time. So, get one in place, get the other one in place. Alright, make sure that's set. So, I have them kind of where I want them to be. They're just sitting there. I'm going to see where I placed them on the brim. You can decide how far forward or backwards you want them to go. Now, what I'm going to do is I could either take my bow, add some glue, and press it down right there, and that would be great. Or, what I think I want to do is take my little triangle and glue it here, and then glue this onto it. Or I can do it the other way around. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue my little wedge, and I want it to go like this. I want to have the 90-degree angle in the back. So I'm going to add some glue to the bottom and go ahead and get that placed where I want my bow to be. So now, get the glue off my fingers. I am going to take my bow, do a little practice run, make sure I'm happy with my placement. Kind of like how that is. So I'm going to add my glue to the back of my bow. And I'm going to put it on my block. So, there we have it. Make sure that hot glue is set. So, I have my little bunny ear. You can see the difference of no wedge and with a wedge. Either way, it's cute, it works. Kind of depends on the look you want to have and how your bow came out. Alright, that's it. That's our little Easter bunny hats.